David. Welcome everybody. My name is Saul, and we're going to be talking about professional scalping. Now we have a little challenge today because I want to go as in-depth as possible in the time frame we have, which is 55 minutes, and I would like to explain what are the advantages and challenges when we scalp the markets, and what's the best way to take profits and the stop loss where it need to be placed and everything. But I would also want to go to the charts, to the trading charts, and show you some live examples. So for that, I believe we will do this very, very fluidly. And if there will be any questions from the attendees, just type in the chat and we'll have some time for questions. So just feel free to ask whatever you don't understand, and we'll try to answer and cover everything. So with that being said, let's just get started. A bit of what we'll do today. I'll try to explain or give you my point of view of what really is scalping. I think there are a lot of blogs and books and literacy written about scalping, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding or misconception about what scalping really is. So I'll try to give you my point of view after many years of trading and deeply understanding what the market behavior is, and my view on scalping. Of course, the advantages and challenges when scalping, and we'll go on how to enter a scalp and what's the better way to enter a scalp trade, and how to take profits when we try to scalp the markets. So before I get started, for all those who don't know me and I don't know you, my name is Saul. I have more than 10 years as a professional Forex trader. I do invest in other markets, but my expertise as active trading is in the Forex market. That doesn't mean we cannot scalp other markets. So I think what I'm going to show you, it is relevant for all markets, and not only the Forex market, but all my words and my terminology will be more related to the Forex market, but we will apply this on all markets. It works. The same concept might be applied in all markets. I trade individual accounts and proprietary accounts. I'm very passionate about teaching. I think when I teach, I really need to understand what I try to teach. So it really helps me to understand things, and I learn more as I teach. So I really like that part of teaching and helping others out. And then today I'm also the senior analyst for the Fibers Fund, which is an open Forex fund. We receive traders who can apply and take part of the fund and trade it and grow it and keep part of the profits. So that's a short bio, trading bio. Trading is a big chunk of my life today. So with that being said, let's dip into what it's scalping, because we learn a lot in the internet and YouTube videos and books and everything, saying that scalping should be or is intraday technique of trading, or scalping is staying in trades 1 minute or 2 minutes or less than 5 minutes, or all kind of definitions that, in my point of view, all those definitions are unplugged, are disconnected from what the market really is. Because giving a trading technique a definition by time, like scalping is staying in a trade 1 or 2 minutes, it doesn't make any sense if we speak about the market. The market does not behave based on minutes or seconds or hours. It just simply processes all the orders through the market, and not taking in account the time parameter. So when we want to understand what really scalp is, we need to understand that the market moves in pivots. Okay, it moves either to the upside or to the downside, and forming the pivots, which are the points where the market changes in direction. Now, those pivots might be forming higher highs, higher lows, or or they might be forming at the same level, forming a ranging market or consolidation, but it always move in pivots, pivot highs and pivot lows. Now, if you see this chart right here, I don't have written what time period is this chart, or I don't have what instrument or what market is this chart. This could be a currency chart, this could be a stock, this could be Bitcoin, this could be a 1 minute chart, a 5 minute chart, a daily chart, okay? I don't have the information here. So what I'm going to tell you applies for all time frames and all markets. So the market will move in pivots, and there will be major pivots and minor pivots. So the minor pivots will be all the little movements in the market that will form the larger pivots. So here, all these little movements that market forms are little pivots, and maybe this one right here and this one up here would be the larger pivots, just an example. So scalping, it's about to try to take advantage of all the little minor pivots, or at least a potential capture of pips from all the little movements in the market, forming those pivots up and pivots down. Now, this is important because these pivots will form in all time frames. So this could be pivots forming in the 1 minute chart. So if you were taking, let's say, a long right here, you would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes into a trade or into a scalp. But if this was a daily chart, you would be taking the same trade and staying into the trade now 7 days, a whole week, and you would still be doing scalping. Okay, you will still be trying to take advantage of a minor movement, of a minor pivot in the market. So if you understand that, you can now understand that you can scalp the 1 minute chart, the 5 minute chart, the hourly chart, the 2 hour chart, the daily chart. It doesn't make any difference. You are only trying to take advantage of the minor movements in the market. Now, why should someone want to scalp? I think scalping has become very appealing, and it's very trendy right now. And I'll give you what are the advantages and what are the challenges when we scalp. So the advantages would be that you can stay into a trade the least necessary time in a trade, inside a trade. So if you take a profit inside this pivot and this pivot, you don't need to hold that trade for longer. So that's the least period of time that you need to stay inside the trade. So you will have more opportunities. Any market, if you're trading a range market or a trending market, you will be able to take advantage of that movement. If we see this chart right here, we can see we're moving sideways, but you can still see the pivots forming, correct? So if you were position trading, or if you were swing trading and you will be holding a trade for all this long, you will be trading or holding this position for a long period of time in a market that it's moving sideways. So that would make not a lot of sense to swing a market that's moving sideways, correct? But if we are scalping, you can, again, take advantage of those little movements with the potential of taking profits out of all these little impulse. So you have the potential to make, in this case, pips, but would be points or whatever market you're trading. So you have opportunities to trade either ranging markets or trending markets. So that's the advantage of trading. Now, the challenges when we try to scalp requires active management. It requires concentration. If you are scalping the daily chart, you will need to go back to your charts every day to see how your trade is going, and then make any kind of decision. The decision might be do nothing, might be adding to your trade, might be trailing your stop, maybe whatever, but you need to make more decisions that if you were just position trading off the daily chart and just holding your trades for months and months. And if you're scalping off the 1 minute chart or 5 minute chart, then you need to make a lot of decisions. So with every candlestick or every minute or every period of time, you will have to make a decision. Now, again, the decision might be do nothing. Your trading is going in your favor, so just just sit on your hands, but you have to be focused and actively manage the trade. Now, because of the active trading and the bigger amount of trades you will be placing, you will be paying a lot of fees and a lot of commissions, at least on Forex. When we trade, we know we have to pay a commission for every trade we place. So we will have to pay more commissions than if we were trading less trades, like swing trading or position trading. And also important is the spread becomes an important factor, because if we're trying to scalp off the 1 or 5 minute chart, a currency pair, just an example, that has a wide spread, let's say a 2 pip spread. So that spread becomes very representative to the target we will be placing. Now, if we try to swing trade a currency pair that has 2 pip spread, those 2 pips are less important or less relevant if we're looking to make 100 pips or 200 pips or points target. Okay, so they become less representative to our trading and to our take profits. So those are the challenges while scalping, and that's why I would recommend all of you that if you're just starting out, I would recommend to start in larger time frames. With some, you can scalp the larger time frames, and then when you get more experience and you feel more comfortable, you can go down and zoom into lower time frames and try to improve your scalping in shorter time periods. Now let's move into how to enter a scalping trade. Now the equation here is the more confirmation we're looking, the more probability we'll have for that scalp to work out in our favor, but also our risk in pips will be larger. Now, the opposite is also true. The less confirmation we're looking, we'll have less possibility for that trade to work out in our favor, but also the risk in pips or points we're taking will be less. And let me give you an example. Let's just take this level right here as a support level or a demand level, okay, a key level in the market. And let's imagine prices are reaching that support or demand level, and we are expecting a bounce of that level. Now, if we let the price to touch that level, that key level, and then we see this kind of reaction, this candle formation, okay, and we place a buy stop order above that candlestick, now we have more confirmation because we already see the reaction to that key level, and then we're placing a buy stop order above that candlestick, and then our stop loss, of course, would be here. So that would be the risk, okay, the risk that would be taking in pips or in points. That would be the distance from our entry point to our stop loss. But now we know that if there will be a continuation to the upside, there's more possibility, chances that the workout will work, that the trade will work out. Now, if we have the same example, we have prices reaching this support or this key level, and we place a buy limit order. The stop loss is at the same place, and then we're triggered in the trade, and then afterwards we get this same formation like before. Now our risk, our distance from our entry point to our stop is less, okay? So you can see what's the advantage and what's the disadvantage between entering with confirmation or more confirmation with buy stop orders, or entering with market orders or limit orders to a position. Okay, the distance from your entry point to your stop loss will be less. Now, of course, we know we need to adapt our lot size, so we always risk the same amount of money, correct? But this will be much easier to give you a nice risk-reward ratio than this one. For this, you will need price to move more in your favor to give you a good 2, 3, or 4 risk reward on your trade. Now, how do we take profit when we when we scalp. And for that, we need to learn or understand what's a price cycle. And a price cycle, it's the average price that on previous pivots that has formed on previous pivots. So let's just say these are 10, this movement right here was a 10 pip or 10 point movement. This pullback right here was a 10 pip or point movement. This one right here was a 10, 5, 10, 5. And if we zoom all of this, if we add them and we average them, we get 7.5 pip. Okay, that's the average of all of this. We measure all these and we divide it by 6, and then now we have an average. Now this average right here, this number, it's our price cycle. It's how much can we expect from the market to deliver us on the next leg, from pivot to pivot. Now this is only me, my predefined take profit, it's a third of that price cycle. So I will go to all charts, and this is what we're going to do once we finish the presentation. We go to the charts and to the live markets, and we will do this exercise together. So we will try to understand how to measure this. We'll get our average, and for me, a third of that price cycle, that's my take profit, because I do not expect never to, or that would be like a dream or too good to be true. But we almost never get into a trade at the very bottom, and we exit a trade at the very top of the trade. So all I want to get, it's a little chunk from the middle. I want to take a third of that movement. I want that to be my take profit. So even before the cycle ends, I want to be out of the trade. That would be my scalp. If I were swinging, I would leave that to run in my favor, because I'm scalping or trying to scalp the market, I would also take little sips of the market, little profits, little profit, little profits. Of course, if I understand or I see the market is willing to give me more, so I will be flexible with myself, and I will move my take profit and take more profits of the same trade. But my predefined take profit will be a third of the price cycle. And we'll go to the charts and do these exercises together. Now, before we go to the charts, please, anyone has any question, this is a good moment to ask the questions. In the meantime, I will show you my trading chart. Let me do a new share. Okay, and while you type your questions, I will just let me know that you can see my chart. Please just type me a Y or something, so I know you can see my trading platform. Now this will be a forex trading platform, but for all of you that trade, okay, thank you, Jack, Carol, thanks. If you trade again stocks or whatever, you can apply the same concepts. So let's go to a classic example of the 1 minute chart. Okay, this is the dollar yen on the 1 minute chart. Okay, this is what everyone wants to scalp. Okay, and when scalpers scalp, they usually scalp of the 1 minute chart or 5 minute chart. So let's try to identify what we want to do. So first we need to train our eyes to identify those pivot points. Okay, the points where market changes in condition. Now with some practice, you will get that pretty easy, but I will show you also an indicator that will help you to identify those pivot points. But you can see the pivot points right here. Okay, I'm just highlighting some of them. And I think you all get the concept. Okay, here is pretty clear where the pivots are. Okay, we have this one here, this one right here. But if you are just starting out and you are struggling getting this pivot with your eyes, so go ahead, take the zigzag indicator. I like, if I'm if I'm scalping, I like to go ahead with the 6th in value. And there you go. We have the pivots. Now, what we have to do now is to measure some pivots backwards and then to average those. Okay, so let me get my, I'm not sure you can see my calculator, but let's just do the measures. So we have 4 pips here, 7 pips here, 6 pips, 8, 9 pips, 9 and 10. So I did 6 measures. So I divide 45 by 6 and it's 7.5. Okay, so 7.5, now it has become my price cycle. 7.5. Now we said our predefined take profit will be 1/3 of that. So now I divide that 3 and it's 2.5. So if you have a one-click trading or script or something, you can adapt this and you take profit to make it 2.5. Great. So now, now I need to wait for price to form a new pivot, and now I can enter a new trade and scalp 2.5 pips every trade. Now, of course, after understanding all this, you need to learn the context of the market, identify if you're on a ranging market or a trending market, and align your trading with the direction of the market. Okay, but this is the exercise. Now let's go ahead and let's go to a daily chart. Okay, so this is the Aussie USD daily chart, and we'll do the same exercise. Okay, we go to the zigzag 6 because we're scalping. Okay, here are my pivots. Now I do the same exercise. I measure from pivot high to pivot point to pivot low. You can do the measurement 6 times, 8 times, 10 times, whatever you feel comfortable. Doesn't really matter. 150, 122. Let me zoom those. Three, 5, 4, 175. I'll do one more. 140, 218. I divide that by 6, 193. So I know my price cycle now is 193. And if I want to scalp the daily chart, my flexible but predetermined take profit would be 1/3 of that price cycle, which is 64 pips. There you go. So, for example, here, this movement right here has moved 150 pips, but the price cycle or the average has been 193. So that would be all the way to the highs right here, correct? So we could expect this market to touch these highs before making or forming a pivot and then moving to the downside, okay? And that would be a way to scalp the daily chart. Now let me go to some questions on the chat, and we'll get those answered. So my price target, my price target is a third of the price cycle. So once I have measured and averaged the pivots and the movements from the pivots, I have a price cycle, and I divide that by 3, and that's my take profit. Okay. How do you identify the cycles in a less trendy market in order to determine the target profit? So I believe this is a good example of that, okay, because this is a very ranging market. Okay, this is not trending. This is ranging. We're not forming any pivot highs or pivot lows. We're just moving sideways, and it's the same exercise. So I guess the only difference is when I'm trading a trending market, I align myself with the trend, and when I'm trading a ranging market, I will trade both sides, and I will scalp the bottoms and the tops. Can you please show how to scalp or swing higher time frames in a one day? What is your view on using ATR for take profit levels? Sam, great question. So I showed how to do exactly the same on the daily chart right here. We can go ahead and take another chart. If you have a specific pair that you trade and you want to tell me, we can do the exercise right now. Now, my view on using the ATR for take profit levels, I think using the ATR will, let me bring that here. So using the ATR for scalping, I believe you can take more than the ATR, because sometimes the take profit or the pivot will be more than one on the movement or the range of one single candle or one single day of movement. So I think using the ATR will give you maybe more profit, like a larger amount of profits, but less pips or less pip that you could be taking. You will take smaller profits that you would be able to. How big should the difference be between a high and a low pivot to make the trade worthwhile? Not sure I understand what you mean, but the important thing of scalping is to understand that this is just a technique or a style, that you need to implement this into a whole strategy. I'm not telling you here when exactly to get in or where to get out, where your entry points or your stop loss. That's something that you might be using an indicator or supply and demand, order flow. You might have different strategies. What I'm trying to show you is that you can scalp any time frame and inside any strategy. So a lot of people that are using trending strategies like crossovers, SMAs, or something like that on ranging market, and they struggle because they get a lot of false signals. So if you scalp those ranging market, you will have a lot of profits that when your strategy would give you false take profits or wrong levels for taking profits. Hi, I can't find zigzag indicator. Do we have a download? No, if you go to indicators and customs, usually all the MT4s have the zigzag already there. You don't have to download it. It's a very basic one. And how do I how do I check the, so if you have the crosshair here and you click, you can measure, this is in points. So if you see the second number, 156, those are pips, okay? 156 pips, 121 pips, because what you see here are points. So every 10 points are 1 pip. How much is the win ratio for this strategy on, let's say, 500 trades? So again, this is not a specific strategy. This is just a technique, or a style, a trading style of taking small profits as opposed as big profits. But scalping, because of you getting in high probability entry points, and you're taking little profits, you're not waiting for the whole leg to form or the whole swing. You're just taking part of the swing. So as you become better and better, you can get higher, more than 80 or 85 win rate. But sometimes your risk reward will be smaller. Okay, maybe even 50 or less than 50%. That 50, one-to-one risk reward, but you will have a large amount of winning trades. So your win rate will compensate your break-even win to loss ratio. So if J pound dollar, Sam, yeah, let's do that. Why not? Pound dollar, and we can do this again in all time frames, correct? We can go to the daily, and we can go, let me clean this a little bit. We can go to daily, we can go to the hourly or 4 hours or 5-minute chart. It doesn't really matter, okay? But let's stick to the 5-minute chart for the example, and let's highlight our pivot. So I believe this is already a pivot. Okay, we have this pivot point forming. And let's measure them. So we have 46 and 13. We have 35, 43. Let's do one more, 20 and 33. This divided by 6. We have 31 on the 5-minute chart. On the pound dollar right now, we have 31. That's our price cycle. And if we want to scalp this, we should divide that by 3. So it's 10 pips. Okay. So if our price cycle is 33 or 30 pips, and this movement have been 45 already, we could expect that this being the end of the pivot of this movement and a reaction to that movement. Okay, so you could take this could, of course, this could just move sideways, but if this pullbacks, we could expect a pullback as deep as that one right here. That would be the normal market behavior. Now, because it's very hard for us to get into a short right now and take profits down here, we will only aim for 1/3, because so that would be something like this, which is very achievable. Okay, so the smallest pullback to the downside would give you the scalp you're looking for. And you can do this exercise on all time frames. Can we use pivot point indicator for scalping on lower time frames? I'm not familiar with that indicator, so I just spot the pivots with my eyes, and I do this manually. Rakir, yeah. Why don't you tell me a currency pair and a time frame, and we'll do the exercise. And one, how to insert that small X chart that you have done. This one right here, the cross. So you have it up here. So it's the crosshair that will help you know. Here at the bottom, you know the time and the day. Here at the right side, you will have your prices, and if you click on it, you can measure to distance and price. The spreadsheet, yeah, I believe it's the grid in back, so you can I don't know, where is it? Show grid. I believe it's this. Yeah, that's the grid. Okay, let's go to the 1 hour chart. Yeah, but you gave me, Rakib, gold that I don't have it. I only have Forex in this platform. So if you have a currency pair, I'll do that. Is there a best time of the day most suitable for scalp currencies? Not really, but there are some hours of the day. That's a great question, Sam. That scalping is not the best option, because there are times of the day that you find yourself in a trend that would make more sense to swing or hold positions for longer than just scalping. But if you are in a low volatile period of the or time of the day, or you are on a ranging market, for example, so scalping makes more sense than holding trades for longer time, like swing trading. So so if I'm trading trending days, trending markets, I might hold my trades for longer. If I'm trading ranging markets, I will use this technique I'm showing you right now. So let's go to the JPY 1 hour. Okay, and we'll do exactly same. Let's go back in time, and let's okay, maybe here. Okay, so we have the pivots in place. Okay, I hope you'll see them. Okay, so let's say this is that's all the information we have. So let's measure these ones. 98, 72. $81, $91. One more. 97. So that's 88. Okay, that's the whole price cycle. 88. And let's take a third of that. Which is 30. Let's change colors. So this is our price cycle, and this would be our take profit. Okay, so if this down here, that's a pivot. So that's 88. Okay, that's the whole cycle. We can see we didn't get that, but we do get, okay, even here, we do get profits, and we can trade this all the time. And of course, when volatility comes in, so that's quite easy to get those 30 pips off this market, okay? Because you're only aiming for a third of the whole price cycle. What's my view on hedging rather than using stop loss, considering how volatile the market can be? Is it possible to hedge trades and still use a stop loss on the trade? I'm not a big fan of hedging. I think it's very advanced, and all of you from the United States might not be able to hedge properly. So I don't really hedge, and I always recommend to use stop loss. But I guess there's no right or wrong or better or worse. That's just my experience. Not a big fan of hedging. Thanks, Saul. Appreciate that. Thanks you. What is the function of depth of the market tool you're using to illustrate scalping? Actually, it's only giving me the. I just want to show you what will be my. If I take let's find a setup, and we might. Okay, if I place a buy stop right here, that would give me my. No, it's not what I meant. I can predefine my take profits with this. So if I go ahead and take a buy, okay, you see I have already my take profit in place and my stop loss in place. It's like a one-click trading functionality. Some brokers offer this, so I just use it for, so my take profits are there already in place. Why this has to be divided by 3? Why not 2.5 or 2 for more profits? It's my personal experience in the market. I divided by 3, and of course I care about the market structure. So if this is my take profit right here, but I see there's a demand here or the end of the cycle up here, I will adjust my take profits and my stops and everything to the market structure. But I just want it to be there in place, and then I adjust manually whatever I need. Do you use a robot to trade your method? No, I don't do automatic trading. No, I do it manually. Okay, so let me take those out, and if there's no more questions, okay, now the pivot just formed right there, and this is the whole cycle. So let's see if price really respect the price cycle. Any additional points to be taken care of high volatile markets or buy climaxes? Again, I did not show you a strategy. Okay, the scalping is a technique, and a technique to take more profits of the market in the shortest period of time possible. And this can be applied to any strategy. So if you have a demand or supply strategy, if you have a Bollinger Band strategy, so you can implement this scalping concept I've just taught you to your strategy. Okay, I didn't get into money management, and I didn't get into how to manage an open position, and there's a lot of things to do. But what I wanted you to understand is that you can scalp all markets, all time frames, and to get to understand the price behavior of pivot highs, pivot lows, and how to get a third of that price cycle to get high probability take profits in place, okay? Take profit orders. Yeah, and it would be the same techniques for all markets. Can you send me the link to be on the panel? Fausto, I'm not sure. So guys, we have last minutes now. So I just want to give you some links. So if you want to reach out or something, let me share you. Let me give you the links. If you have any question, just make sure you contact us. This is our website, and if you trade Forex and you are already profitable, just come visit us, and we do some very exciting and fun stuff here at the fund. We have live trading rooms every day that you can join, and we have a bank trades ideas bank. And if you have any question, anything, just send an email to support, and we can have those answers for you. Sam, can I show how to swing on higher time frames? I believe I think it's the same. You go to higher time frames, and instead of focusing on scalping on the lower pivots, I'll go ahead and show you that very quickly because we're running out of time. But I'll show you that very quickly. So if you go to, let's stick to the Aussie, instead of focusing on every little pivot, and you can focus on major pivots. So if even if you're using the zigzag indicator, and you change that to 12, let's see if there's any difference. Okay, so those are the major pivots. So you can do exactly what I show you, but your measure, instead of doing all in minor pivots, okay, because this is a minor pivot, this is a minor pivot that we did measure before because we were scalping, correct? But if you want to swing trade, you don't take those into account. So you only focus on large pivots. So now you do exactly the same. You measure from pivot high to pivot low. Okay, and you average that, and then you will have a new price cycle, which will be much larger because that's a swing trade. And then if you want to get a high probability trade on the swing trade, you divide your swing price cycle divided by 3 or 2 or whatever you feel comfortable with, and then you have a high probability reachable take profit in place. Okay, so that's the difference between scalping and swing trading, major pivots or minor pivots. I believe this is applicable to any direction, either buy or sell. Please correct. Yeah, you can, of course, you can buy or sell for sure. Now, again, if you are on an uptrend, you may want to buy more than sell. If you are on a downtrend, you might want to look for more selling opportunities than buying opportunities. And if you're in a ranging market, then you can buy and sell. Okay, that's the beauty of this technique. Is there a number of pivots you need to contain? to count in order to get the average? No, whatever you feel comfortable with. I usually do 6 because you don't want to, if I'm trading right now, I don't want to get information from back here, okay? From when the volatility was much higher or much lower than now. So I want to trade the last movements. So I have relevant information for the trading session I'm trading in that moment. So I don't want to go very, very far because I might have misleading information. Thank you, Sam. Thanks for the words. And guys, last questions before we wrap up. Do I recommend any minimum ATR value for that? Yeah, I didn't get to the, I didn't speak about the ATR. So of course you want to make sure there is some volatility in the market. Okay, you don't want to be trading death charts, but if there's at least a little bit of volatility, you will be able to scalp in the way that I just showed you. Guys, thank you very much. Thanks for all your questions. Thank you, great session. Thanks. Thank you. All the questions really help us and helps everyone out to get more in depth to the concept. So thanks for coming, and it's nice to be here. My first time here at this event, so it was my pleasure. And again, if you have any question of what I show you or whatever, just send an email. They will pass it to me, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that.